I'm one of the organisers from the Horse and Groom in Doncaster, which we started 14 years ago this week. And we'll be still going wrong, and we called it the Field of Dreams. We built it and they came. People said to me, it'll never work, Joe. Nobody will ever travel to listen to a Sunday afternoon session to people playing Jimmy Mack. And not wrong with Jimmy Mack, by the way. But I said, no, well obviously we're going to be playing that. We're going to be playing something different, which we've always tried to do. And like our little sign says, we don't play the top 500. Even though there's no wrong with the top 500, we don't play it. Unless we've had a drink and it's Christmas and then odd one might sneak in.
Well, the four of us, we were at this club in Woodlands where Joe lives, and I used to go over there every Sunday afternoon, and me and Joe would have several pints of lemonade, of course, and the original landlord at this place, Francis, like Joe said, he just kept on at us, but he used to come in and have a drink with us and shut this place up because there were nobody basically getting in here at all. He said I might have 10 stragglers coming in between like 11 o'clock when he opens up until 2 o'clock. And said, and basically that's it. So anything what you can do for me would be pretty much a bonus. So, and that's the reason basically, we sort of like kicked it off. But like Joe said, he wanted us to come down just to play a bit of like top of the pile like Northern Soul, dance music. I said, well, we'd love to do it, but we would really like to play, some a little bit off the beaten track, like of all different styles and tempos. Obviously, soul music, of course,
We decided because half a dozen of us got a birthday in August, we'd have a birthday party. And it was to say it was a success is probably an understatement.
Yeah, I think you expected about 50 turning up.
Yeah, and the place was rammed. And then we decided to do another one, and I think the first 12 months, we did 5, and then we started doing one every 2 months, and until some silly idiot decided to release some virus around the world, we've never stopped.
We do tend to have more travellers coming here. I mean, we were observing earlier on, in between 12 o'clock and maybe 2 o'clock. I was looking around doing a basic head count. I'm thinking, well, there might be about 30, 40 people in here now, and there's about 10 from Doncaster. There's not really that many local people who actually come at all. They're the ones who tend to come in the short term, between 4 to maybe 7 o'clock, because when we originally started this one, we must have had maybe 120 people in from the off. Needless to say, at 8 o'clock, everybody will start to do a little bit of rocking and rolling at that time. So I think over the years, people they've more acclimatised themselves into times they want to come.
And the reason I come up here is because of these guys and the music policy they have. When I first came the very first time, they asked me to DJ for them.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous the first time because they've got such a good reputation. I come up here thinking, oh my God, what have I let myself into, But we had a fantastic day, and since then I've been coming up. I don't come up quite as often now. Because
it's a long way to come at the end of the day, Bob,
it costs quite a lot of money to travel all the way. But we absolutely...
Especially when we're all pensioners these days. Not me, of course. But
we always end up buying too many records as well, But, we've loved the friendliness of it all. You can come from anywhere, and if you speak to guys today, you'll find people from all over the country here, But when you come from Dorset, you have to stay the whole hog, what I mean? Or otherwise it's just not worth it,
Well, initially, there weren't really much going on as far as playing this style of music. Particularly, there used to be the weekenders, like Yarmouth, Southport, things like that. How we started here, because this pub is, even though it's pretty much fairly central in Doncaster, it's never been a packing pub, it's never got a lot of people in. And the guy that used to, was a landlord 14 years ago, a guy called Francie, he was a close friend of ours. So he asked us this one Sunday, he said, do you fancy coming and playing some music for me? Put some Motown on. And we said, yeah, we'll come and do that, but we don't want to really play what's gone before, like as a Sunday afternoon. So we'd like to do something a bit more laid back. You know, he used to put meals on, so people could come, listen to a bit of mid-tempo things, you know, have a bite to eat and listen more than anything else. We're never really about dancing, although as it conspires, when it gets later on and people have a few bevies, they do like to get up and have a bit of shuffle about. But that's not why it was set up in the first place. And some people credit us as being probably the first to do that kind of thing. You know, and it just seems to have worked.
Like these guys, you know, I started off as a teenager with it all. And like Bri was saying, I joined the army when I was 16, you know. And while I was serving in the UK, it was easy to get around to all the venues, you know. But once I joined the army and I got posted abroad, it's so difficult to keep in touch with everything.
Yeah.
But I was a Wigan casino lad when I was a young boy, you know, and to go from Poole to Wigan was quite a trek, you know. Used to take us about 8 hours on the train.
Whereas the likes of, you never did Wigan casino. I mean, it was sort of after Joe's time. Wigan he was on his break with his marriage and buying settees and dishwashers and stuff like that. And I was more or less, I left school in 79. I was just more or less, you know, like really getting into race, or even though we were probably into like basically like Tavares, Luther Vandross, top of the power stuff from like maybe 1978, 79 onwards when we were still at school.
Oh, I was real scared the first time. You know, I was a young lad, like, you know, and there's a lot of older guys there, you know, than us. And I thought, oh, what am I letting myself in for? Because you used to queue up outside for ages and ages, you know, and everyone used to have the cassette players, you know, playing all the tunes, and all the guys were dancing outside, you know, before we got in there. But I can remember the first time I queued up with a couple of mates of mine who took me up there. And as soon as I got through these old double doors there, there's hundreds of people, and you got your 10 bob note in your hand, ready to pay the woman, and everyone just pushed you right forward. I lost my bag because you take a change of clothes with you and that. Lost my bag. I just went up these stairs into the main ballroom, and my bag was just thrown through the other side. It was brilliant. And I looked in there. I nearly swore, sir, sorry. I looked in there and I thought, Jesus, this is absolutely fantastic, you know what I mean? And I mean, in those days, there usually get 1,000 odd people in there, you know. And the dance floor was absolutely jam-packed. And you know, they do all these acrobatic stuff. And all. If you stand too close, you're going to get some of that, mate. No, but the atmosphere and everything. And it was meeting people from all over the country. You know, I used to get picked up in a place called Poole, and our coach used to go to Basingstoke, Reading, and other places all on the way round picking other people up, you know. And, you know, you got to meet so many great people, you know.
I've always been a soul fan, a music fan of all kinds, and still am. Everything like from 50s up to modern day, really, I buy. But first soul, well, record by a black group or black artist, well, the Shirelles, We Love Me Tomorrow, about 1962,
61 or two,
something like that. And I've always watched, and then of course, I was sat watching the television and when the Motown Review came over for the very first time, and obviously watching groups like Miracles and Temptations and things like that, I thought, blooming heck, always to that effect. And I got into it ever since, and I had it for many years. I bought records, then I got married and sold a few, because I had to either buy records or buy a 3-piece suite, which, so, you know, she made me buy a 3-piece. I was quite happy with boxes, but she said no. She said, well, I sold a few, but then I started collecting again. I don't know what year, but I've always collected. But I met Brian Dave, believe it or not, at a record fair. You know, we got talking as you do, and what do you like, mate? Blah blah blah. Are we going for a pint? Went for a pint. Then
I think basically we were sort of vying over this one particular record. Which me and my brother thought, oh, we fancy that. They were a copy of the Showman. Is it Wrong Girl? Yes. Wrong Girl. And obviously, I think Joe was sort of quite desperate for the record. And for us, it was, should we get it? Like, I think we'd already got a American import of the record anyway.
And I've always been a British collector.
Yeah, in the main.
Even now. and these all ring me saying they're all reissues, but obviously I don't think they are. I think they're original first British issues, but these only a bit of friendly banter.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But they knew I wanted the Showman, which is quite a rare record.
Even back then, it were quite expensive,
Yeah,
Joe.
well,
wasn't
I actually bought it of a deal that people know called Mick Smith from
Smith,
London,
yeah.
And I think it were about 50 quid.
Yeah, something
Like that. I know our lads had to go out shopping for a week, but we bought it
Live on
anyway.
beans on toast.
We bought it, and then we went to the pub, as I said, and we sat there and we said, well, I thought you'd have bought that other one, Joe, and something else, with Alexander Pan and something else. I don't know all these records, but they're gone, and so I thought, hang on a minute, lads, put my beer down, and went back and bought them all. And we struck up a friendship straight away.
Yeah.
And we've been mates really ever since, haven't we?
I don't believe in all the different genres of soul. It's soul music to me. It was soul music when I started collecting when Joe was a lad and I was a small child. I've been collecting records for over 60 years, from the days when you had to go to a shop and buy them as new releases till the day the imports arrived, up until 3 years ago when I decided to sell them all.
See, back then, what amazes maybe the generation of today is the amount of word of mouth that must have been playing a part in spreading the word about the music. Because the communication was completely different back then.
That's it. Well, you met somebody, and they said, "Oh, I'll do you a tape." So you did them a tape, or they did me a tape, and then I do one back at things I go. So obviously, when you started going all night, you heard some things, but you had loads of things on a tape that you never heard out. And I myself have always been governed by not so much what fills the dance floor. It's loving the record. I can't see the point in buying a record just because people dance to it. You've got to be passionate about the music in yourself, I think.
With regards to Northern Soul, it can be a wee bit competitive. I see a lot of people with their record boxes comparing records.
Really
What's your thoughts on that?
I've never really subscribed to that. I do understand, well, there's that competition, as you say, when guys will pay a lot of money to buy a one-off, something that's exclusive, and it's a good ego thing, I think. I think along with that, a little bit of money has to come into it as well.
Yeah.
Well, if you're like me and my brother as painters and decorators, you can't get very far. So you have to look a bit deeper. You have to buy something cheaper or make your own way and try something and do people tapes and do it that way.
Well, it was way back. I'm not as old as Mick. Mine was the 70s, the early 70s. It was Motown. Like, I think got most people into soul music. And it just progressed from there. Youth Club sounds, Motown. I like this Northern Soul, and just progressed from there. And here I am today.
We're fascinated by records anyway, but we thought, what are these records? You got in the charts, you got like Slade and Mud and them kind of bands, and they were kind of okay to grow up with. But when you hear stuff like that, you think, well, words fail me, it's so much better. So, starting with Motown first, but just odd bits in Northern. But we were still at school. We were still really only 10, 11, 12 years old at that point. We got nobody really else that we met locally. It was just kind of kept within family.
Yeah.
Up to then. We did start then. I did buy this box set, The Story of Motown. And just like in music period, though, first and foremost, I've always liked a lot of music. We just thought to ourselves, wouldn't it be nice if we got some of these records on the proper labels? How would we go about that? Because there weren't really magazines, there was nothing really to help you along. So you pick stuff up. It was mainly the Motown, the chart hits like Four Tops, Reach Out, I'll Be There, Supremes. And then you used to see other things, but you didn't know them. You just pick them up as you went along, and well, they're nice as well. But so we got this box set, and that opened the eyes up to a lot more things, and so we just thought we'll try and collect these. And then we discovered Record Collector magazine. That was 1980, and then we were just buying British Motown, but rooting through soul boxes at record fairs that had just really started to get going, record fairs, and just buying stuff. If it said like Northern, oh, we'll get that. It's only a couple of quid, and just going from there. So we never really did a nighter till 81 when I did my first one 81. Brian was later on, he never went then. But then I had a little bit of a lull. I joined the army, and I was in the army from 81 till 87. But I didn't really start big time with the northern scene, doing all-nighters properly, and I mean week in, week out, when I came back to England in 86. And it just really, I got obsessed with it. Bought myself out of the army and just buying records every week.
As a DJ, you know when you're asked to do the horse and groom that you can play what you feel.
Yeah, you get free rein.
And not worry about the dance floor, you know,
No.
which is fantastic for us guys. You know, if you've got sort of new records you'd like to play, this is the place to play them.
And you know you're always going to get appreciated.
Yeah, you do, and it's fantastic.
There's going to be no rotted tomatoes coming over there. Yeah. We've always had a knack of clearing the dance floor. I don't know what. Even when we've done some of the big events, we've always liked to play something a bit different. You know, a bit different. Just to, you know, I don't know. So we've DJ'd all over the place, and there's sometimes like you think like, well, we'll play this and play that. Like, get them on dance floor. All these people dancing. Drop this one in. And you get what you call the tumbleweed effect, like I can see one too many tiles on this dance floor, like.
Really, the Groom was never put on for the dance floor.
Well, as you can see, we've got a dance floor here, which if you get 10 people on it, it looks quite good.
If people get up and dance, and good luck to them. But we don't mind that. But you can come here and play a full set of records, low tempo, and nobody will. We appreciate as much as everything, you know.
Yeah, I've always had a bit of going the all-nighters before I started DJing. Yeah, I've always done me a little bit of a, you know, soft shoe shuffle. I've never been a spinner or a backdropper, you know, because I've always been a big boy. You know, I've lost a lot of weight even now, so I'm lighter now than I've been since the 80s. Mm-hmm. You know, so doing backdrops were never an option, but doing a bit of a shuffle, to certain records. The mid-tempo things, you know, not so much the stompers, because I just used to sit down and nod my head, you know. And
are we going to see some dancing today?
Probably not from me. No.
I used to like all the up-tempo stuff, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I do. I can't really dance.
Today, wasn't it?
I can't believe I still dance.
You do dance, yeah. And to be honest, Bob, you're still quite, you knock a few decent shapes out.
Yeah, man. But one of the records always used to get me was Job Opening by the Del.
Oh, the Del House, yeah. That's a damn fast record to try and dance like.
I know, but I used to absolutely love it, you know, and that was all part of it. There, it was the dance scene, wasn't it? You know, and I mean, as we've got older, we sort of mellow slightly. Your tastes change, you know, and you know, but. You know, my taste had changed a great deal. You know, I really prefer the 70s sort of stuff now, you know, but, you know, you can't forget where your roots are, you know.
No.
And when I hear the Del Larks now, I still like to get myself up there, like, you know, and give it a go.
Have you seen that later on tonight then?
Oh, no. I need a hoist if I go down like that.
It depends how many much of this ambidextrous is that. You know, I'll be doing backdrops.
I looked at it in the financial point of view. I'm getting on a bit. I'm not a young bloke. As Joe says, I'm older than him. I don't look it, I know that. And I thought, well, if I don't sell them now, they'll probably get given away or get skipped or whatever. And they're worth a lot of money, and they were worth
I think we all think that, We'll just carry on doing it and just see what happens. I don't know. I didn't think it'd last this long, but it has, and it's still going strong, as you can see. So let's see what happens.
I think it can run forever, providing there are people willing to do it. Obviously, the people that's doing it now ain't going to last forever, so it requires some younger people to come into it. And I can't see them at the moment, but hopefully they'll be around in the next few years.
I think they will,
and run with it.